Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Talking City podcast from the Manchester Evening News. I'm Tyrone Marshall, swapping chairs today, hosting Simon Bajkowski, who is back from Monaco and has all his clothes with him, I believe. I'm pretty sure I've seen you in those before, so they're not new ones. You didn't manage to lose anything in Monaco. You came back with everything you went, apart from some expensive taxis.
Yes, my wallet is a lot lighter now. There was a fantastic announcement when we got from the airport to Nice airport, actually, to the train station. An announcement came on the tannoy saying, "Watch out for the young woman with a dog. She's a pickpocket."
Brutal.
And I thought that is real kind of like attention to detail for the passengers. Like, I'm not sure you get that on UK rail.
No.
That's sort of like singling out who the people to watch out for.
I think the woman with a dog would probably sue you for starters for calling her a pickpocket over here. But second now, a word from our sponsors, NordVPN. To get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/talkingcity. That link will give you 4 extra months on our 2-year plan. And you also get Nord's 30-day back money guarantee. The link is in the description box if you need it, and I have just read it out as well, so you should be able to remember that. nordvpn.com/talkingcity. Let's start with the TripAdvisor segment then. Monaco, recommended?
Not for me. It's a very nice place. It's got quite some iconic bits to it, and obviously the Grand Prix track is part of that. Feels very built for multi-millionaires.
Should have been right at home then.
Yes, yeah. One of those places where I think if you have money, but by money I mean millions and millions, you will enjoy it. If you don't, I stayed in Nice, but when I was in Monaco I was a bit not overly impressed. And it's nowhere near like a footballing place. Like, the stadium is monstrous. It's one of the worst stadiums I've ever seen and been in. And the fans were okay, but like, you don't see any fans out in the Principality.
Yeah, no vibe or anything.
No. Just a bit nothingy really. Like, lovely scenery. And the training ground was very scenic as well, up in the hills. But yeah, and also unfortunate because sort of probably a fifth of the stadium was closed because the seats, those areas are being done up. So it feels like City fans have been a bit shortchanged in this group, with sort of no tickets for Monaco, no tickets for Villarreal, no tickets for Bodo, and then like Real Madrid
again. Yeah.
Again. But anyway, a lot of City fans who did go had a very nice time. So
yes, well, that's good. Well, I noticed it was nice scenery because I could see that those of you that were all over the Instagram filters. And it is, we've touched on it, it's a place for high rollers, and City gambled by deciding to do nothing in the second half.
It is a performance that has split opinion, and there are many...
Even just amongst the squad.
Yeah, there are many performances that have split opinion, individual performances. I thought it was a pretty good performance, and were it not for some farcical refereeing, City would have won and we'd be talking about another comfortable win. But do you agree with that, or do you think they were...
I thought they were good. I thought they were really good in the first half. They deserved to lead at half time. I thought they could have been 3 or 4 ahead at half time. And at half time, I thought they were going to win this game 4-1. I did think they didn't do enough in the second half. It was a contentious penalty decision. But I think I get where Haaland's coming from. I mean, he clearly hadn't seen it, to be fair, when he said, if you kick someone in the face, it's a penalty.
Yeah.
And it's probably not getting given in the Premier League. I think it probably is a lot in Europe. I can see why people are angry and why Pep's angry, but
I mean, it's not...
I don't think it's that contentious if you'd watch La Liga or Serie A every week.
It's not Kelechi Iheanacho's head/hand, I'll admit, but I don't think there's any evidence that he kicks him in the face. And Eric Dyer's afterwards saying, I think he took... And you think, I think you'd know if you'd been kicked in the face.
Yeah.
You know, he certainly did enough rolls on the floor to suggest he'd been kicked in the face, but I couldn't see any camera that showed him. I saw a lot of replays saying Nico Gonzalez had got the ball.
Yeah.
But no one seemed sure it was a penalty. And in which case, whether it's a penalty or not, maybe. But if the referee's seen it and he said no penalty, how on earth does he then change what has he seen on that replay? Because surely he looks at that and he thinks, right, it's a high foot, but he's got the ball and his head's stooping and there's been no contact. Yeah. What has he seen on that replay to change his mind and say, no, actually, it's a penalty? I think it's an awful bit of VAR and officiating.
They did show the still where it looked like he was making contact with his face, but I don't think he was. I think it was a slightly dubious still. Yeah, you know, I think, like I say, I think it's probably harsh over here. I think it's probably getting given a lot of time in Europe. And yeah, I just don't think they did enough.
Yeah.
Second half. I mean, let's start with the first half then. It was a very good first half performance, wasn't it? And I thought maybe the most telling thing in the first half was that they got the goal, which was probably the first real opportunity they created, then conceded immediately from a worldie, even though they've been in control. And that recently has been the moment where things fall apart for them, hasn't it? Like, especially last season, that would happen and heads would fall off and they'd go from having looked comfortable in the game to 2-1, 3-1 down. Whereas this time it was totally different in that they steadied themselves. And the last 15 minutes of the first half, I thought they were excellent.
Yeah, there was a lot of very good play. Foden and Haaland is a link up that is so nearly devastating. They had so many good moments together, but it just didn't quite come off. But yeah, Doku and Bernardo didn't do much on the wings, but there was a lot going through the middle. Foden, Reinders and Haaland all very, very involved. And when you've got like Guardiola playing balls over like he did for the first goal, you sort of sitting pretty, really.
Yeah. I mean, it was a superb assist that kind of got overshadowed by the quality of the goal scorer. I mean, let's touch on Haaland. That was a ridiculous first half performance. He was clearly thrilled to be named man of the match. But a ridiculously good first half performance. That was his first touch, that goal, which was 14 minutes and 50 seconds, something like that. The header was absolutely obscene, I thought. It was like a header from the 1990s.
The header is obscene, and even more obscene because he's not very good at heading.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen countless times, like, he's not great, and like there's no pace on the cross. No. He's kind of curving away from goal. He's not running onto it. So just brilliant, really. Like, you could tell the first goal was like, yes, I'm an amazing footballer, and the second he even seemed a bit sort of wowed by himself with it.
Yeah.
Like, he really enjoyed scoring that goal.
Yeah, I was looking at the stats when I was doing a piece on him, and that chance had an XG of 0.07 when the cross came in, and then once Haaland had headed it, it had an XG of 0.67.
Right.
Which shows the value he is adding to a chance like that.
Yeah.
In terms of I think that's down to the placement, but I mean, even to get the power on it, the leap, he started 2 foot behind the defender, ran maybe a foot and a half in front of him, and you thought he's overcooked this, and then produces that obscene leap.
Yeah.
And then the placement and the power were just brilliant. I mean, he is maybe better than he's ever been this season, isn't he?
Yeah, he's really on it. He looks so sharp, and he's one of those, because it was quite funny because he was so obviously very upset and angry after the game, and has to do a string of post-match interviews where they're like, good goal though, good game, good no touches, good goals. We're still on, well, you didn't have many touches, so you can't have been involved. And he's kind of like, no, I'm still doing things actually, and I actually know what I'm doing. And even for the first goal, you see his movement, it's insane. Like, if Guardiola had played that ball sort of any quicker and it had gone out of play, the movement would still have been better than 99.9% of world forwards in the game today. But the fact that the ball was okay meant that it kind of his movement got the reward it deserved, and the touch is brilliant as well. He is just a goal scoring machine. I think it's 17 in 10 for club and country this season. Just unbelievable numbers. It's funny because it's the slowest start to a Premier League season he's had, because he's only got like 8 in 6 or something. But he just he generally starts seasons very well. But I think there's optimism that he can carry this on. Yes, like you say, he does always start, and last year he came off the boil a little bit, but he looks different this year. But also he went off the boil as City went off the boil, and like as everything behind him evaporated. Whereas I think the hope is, especially with kind of Marmoush and Cherki coming back, that the team behind him can only get better, and so that will help him. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the touches thing is interesting, isn't it? Because he did his interview with TNT afterwards, I thought was really interesting in that. And I think the touches is being presented not as a negative, but as a, like, you only touched the ball this many times and you can still do this. But he was really interested in, like, it's such a reductive way to look at it. And he was like, yeah, I'm still making movements. I'm dragging defenders out of position. I'm making runs. Yeah. Like, that is, you're not only involved in a game of football when it's not like one player's got the ball, so his 10 teammates are stood there. Like, that's not how football works. Yeah, I think it is reductive, though, and critical of him. And I think that even if that wasn't the particular angle of that interview of that night, that has kind of been the narrative that's followed him around for 3 years. And Jamie Carragher and the like. City than, well, if it's aimed at criticism, I think it's more critical of. But City generally, there's criticism of Haaland as, oh, he's just a goal scorer. Oh, he doesn't do anything. Oh, look, he's ruined City. City are worse with him than they are without him, because he doesn't get involved in the build-up. He doesn't have any touches. So, you know what? Yeah, he can put a ball in the net, but what else? And I think that has kind of been the coverage towards him for like 3 years, and he's a bit like, come on, guys, it's you being lazy, rather than sort of just watching what I do, basically. Yeah. And so I always wince a bit when we talk about touches because of that. But it is still remarkable that he did only have 7 touches and scored 2 goals. Yeah, it's very incredibly impressive, isn't it? The second half then. I mean, I thought they kept the ball really well at times. There was one spell around the midpoint of the second half, I think, where they must have had it for pretty much 5 minutes, and they did lose it within there. They won it back so quickly, and you're watching it thinking, this is like the City of old again. They're keeping the ball, moving players around. They lose it, they win it straight back. But I don't know, it felt that, like I say, those last 15 minutes of the first half, you thought they've got their number here. They're creating chances at will. Yeah. And then it felt like they kind of looked to control it in the second half without going to go and kill this game off. Yeah, Reinders hits the bar, doesn't he? Hit the bar. Foden hit, Foden hit the underside of the bar, didn't he? First half. Yeah, Reinders hit the meat of the bar. The bar, yeah. And yeah, I don't think the subs kind of had enough of an impact. Savinho didn't really do anything to say, I should be starting at the weekend. You know, I don't think they attacked brilliantly. Haaland had that one pot shot that was a good save. Yeah. But at the other end, they didn't have anything to do either. You know, I think Donnarumma maybe made one save. Good save, I think, didn't he? On around the hour mark, but that was it. It wasn't like when the penalty came, you were like, oh, this has been coming. No. Like when they went to Brighton and Brighton made those changes, and that was like half an hour of, oh God, every Brighton attack is putting them under siege. Like, they weren't under siege, and then, you know, it's a laughable free kick that gets given at the end, and I think it's a laughable VAR penalty. So, and once Monaco scored, it wasn't then like, oh God, Monaco could win this. It was like, no, they're very happy to, and they had like 8 players missing with injury, and they're under pressure. It felt like, I say don't quote me on this, but we are on a podcast, but it felt like they were almost like boos for the manager when their team was read out before the game. So like, City should be beating them. They should be beating Monaco anyway. They should be beating a Monaco that is far from full strength. But I just kind of thought, I thought they'd done enough to win without the the refereeing.
Yeah. I can see. Like, I think I agree. It's a harsh penalty. I don't think it's scandalous, but it's harsh. But I just don't think they should have been in that situation. I think if they'd have carried on playing the way they were, they'd have put the game to bed, which is essentially what Haaland said post-match. Yeah. What did you make of those interviews?
Yeah. I think it's fine, and I think it's Haaland, and he's very frustrated, and he will also be frustrated because he wants to score goals to win games, and he will feel, I've scored twice here and we've not won the game. How's that happened? I do feel, and this was kind of a theme pre-match with Bernardo doing the pre-match press conference and Pep, of like, City are kind of build step by step is what Pep keeps saying at the minute. They are building up, and like, yes, they should have won the game, but like, you've got half a team that is badly scarred from last season, and you've got half a team that is completely new and still trying to learn what being City is and the standards that they should be setting. And I don't think in that setting you want to be too critical of everyone. Like, City at the best, everyone in the dressing room's a leader. Everyone knows that wasn't good enough. They should have won the game, and they go on and they win the next 10. Fine. But with City at where they are at the minute, I do think they need to they need to be aware that they are very much a work in progress, I would say. What did you think of them?
The comments?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like we say, it was very different to what the manager said and what the captain said.
Which I like.
Yeah, which I'm not against.
And needs to be said, just not sure it needs to be said in public.
No, but it's the second time he's done it this season, isn't it? He did it to Viaplay in Norway. Was that before the derby?
Yeah.
And I don't know, does that, if it's happening regularly, is it an issue? Does Guardiola pull him aside? Or does this kind of why he wants him as a leadership, that he is going to deliver these kind of bombshells every now and again? Or is it a bigger issue that, you know, if Guardiola's TNT interview was very funny, and that he kind of had this like smile forced on all the way through, and he was like, yeah, it was fine, good performance, yeah. And like, I don't know, it was almost like, it was hard to tell if he was just like trying to get through this interview without showing any frustration.
Yeah.
But yeah, you wonder, it's going to be interesting to see how Guardiola deals with that, doesn't it? Whether he just says, that's Erling being Erling, this is kind of what we want. Yeah. Or if it's an issue when he's kind of seriously going off script.
Yeah, I mean, I would say from that game, you need to have that view from Haaland. You need to have the view that Haaland makes, but kind of you also need the Pep and Bernardo. Yeah, I think we played pretty well, and we go on happily from here. I thought it was quite interesting. Haaland did TNT Mexico, maybe. Fred Caldera, basically. Fred, we all know Fred. Okay. And Fred asked him about, last season and, the scars from last season. He was like, we know that every point and every win is so important in the Champions League, because if you start dropping points, then it can become really difficult for you. And I thought that was quite, like, Haaland seems more hurt than anyone else that they did so badly in the Champions League last season, and they did so badly generally, but the Champions League was the worst of the worst. And like, there's been, I wouldn't say desperation, but like a strong wish to start. It seemed more than usual on like, we need to beat Napoli. And they really, really wanted this Monaco win. I would say probably more than like wanting to win at Brentford at the weekend. So I think they are as keen as anyone to sort of say that last season is in the past, let's forget about it. And when a result like that happens, you think, oh no, is this opening up something else? Yeah. So I thought, yeah.
The thing, sorry, just to butt in there. The thing with the Champions League and starting well is they had 7 points from 9 last year.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty good start. I would say. So it doesn't necessarily guarantee anything.
No, it doesn't, no. But I think it's part of this kind of, the longer they, it's like 0 days without an accident at work kind of thing. Like the longer they go without.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. So many things happening to them that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, they will take positives from the fact they didn't collapse at 1-1 with that worldy equaliser. But they won't take positives from conceding late on and making it 2-2. No. So, yeah, it's very hard to. I think Haaland's comments are meant in the right way, and he said himself like he needs to do better as well, having scored 2 and played very, very well.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing you'd say. He includes himself in the collective. I mean, I would. Like, he got one chance in the second half and he smashed in a half volley that forced the keeper into a save from 20 yards. Like, I don't think there's a lot more
he really I think
can
he did.
do. But at least he is taking on the collective. And I think these interviews show that he's got this, like, burning desire to win, hasn't he? And this, like, insatiable will to win. And he's kind of, I mean, it's almost like, the interview is throwing his toys out the pram a little bit, isn't it? Because they've not won.
Yeah.
Not in a negative way, but even, I think you see that with the answer to the penalty question, which is maybe the worst of the lot. When he says, kick someone in the face, that's what's going to happen. Well, I'm not sure that is what happened. Then he just say, like, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
But he's so angry. He's just like, there's no excuses here. Don't kick him in the face.
Yeah. And also what, I think a lot of people still can't quite get their head around is that, like, he is such a team player and he is so wedded to Manchester City. And, all this talk about, you could break these Champions League records. And he's like, I don't care.
Yeah,
like he seems to break a Champions League record every game, and this was like the most goals after 50 appearances, which was always going to be the case. But another 2 goals doesn't hurt. But he's like this guy who will break all the individual records. Like, is not bothered about that. He just wants 3 points at Villarreal, which is goes against kind of the brand, I suppose.
Yeah. And just lastly on Monaco Youth League, give us a quick breakdown.
5-3, City won. So they're now 6 points from 6, sitting very pretty. Mahamadou Sangare, who came from PSG in the summer, got a hat trick, and also I think there was an own goal that he kind of would have turned in otherwise, but looked very good, and also provided an assist for Ryan McKay, who scored a brilliant goal, basically. Charged through on the counter, one-on-one with the keeper, took it round him, defender got back, turned him, left him on the floor, boosted it into net. Very good goal, very good player, very exciting player. Was on the bench against Burnley, having not been included for the Huddersfield game, but he has trained with the first team a bit this season, and very humble guy. We spoke to him after, and he is certainly not counting his chickens, but Mafuni as well, I'd love watching. Is a brilliant centre back, but did make an absolute howler in the second half, and felt like City did a lot of very good things to take the lead and be in control of the game, and then at times just thought, take the foot off the gas, and were punished for it. But they won, and they're very, very, very desperate to do well in this competition. So good for them, and also with Swansea being the opponents in the League Cup at the end of this month, I think there will be a few of those youngsters who are thinking, if I keep impressing, then I've got a shot of a debut or more first team minutes.
Yeah, fantastic. And then Brentford, on to Brentford this weekend. We're looking forward to that. Another pretty good test, but also kind of like Monaco, a game that City should be winning if they're serious about winning these trophies and if they're back to their best.
Did you not see who Brentford beat last week?
I did. That's what I'm saying. Read nothing into that. Mid-table game, wasn't it?
It's another interesting one because you and I went there last season, didn't we? And they played very, very well and went 2-0 up, and then ended up drawing 2-2. And it was a bit like the Monaco game, really. Like, they played well, but ultimately if they've drawn 2-2, you've got to have regrets and maybe kind of psychological, a few, not issues, but you'll certainly remember playing there and giving up 2 goals at the end and giving up 2 points. So it's another kind of hurdle for them to overcome, and also a few more points for them to gain on last season. They've had a few results recently. They had like a point against Arsenal and a win against United.
Yeah.
Where they've done better than last season's result. They obviously need a lot to improve on last season, but another chance for them to do that. Brentford continue to impress, really, don't they? Like they probably will end up mid-table, but to have lost Buemo and Wissa and Frank and still be outclassing Manchester United and doing all right generally is pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. And it would feel like a good statement from City to go 7 games unbeaten between the international breaks. It would feel better if it's 5 wins and 2 draws rather than 4 and 3.
Yeah, and especially because you could point to sort of 2 late equalisers within being the draws, stopping you being 7 from 7. Yeah, I think City want to be winning to sort of be very, very positive about these last few weeks. It will be pretty much the same 11 or maybe a few changes, but it's not like any of the injured players are coming back for this one. So it's going to be on those same players to deliver. Phil Foden has a stupendous record at Brentford and also has just been left out of the England squad.
I was just going to touch on that. Actually, he can put his feet up for 2 weeks after this. It's a matter of time, surely, before he's back in that England squad.
Yeah, I was thinking about it yesterday, and I sort of thought like he could get into the England squad in May and still go on to be a major part of the World Cup. But for his sort of peace of mind, he probably wants to be in as soon as possible. But City will probably be happy that he's been left out because it means he gets rest and also means he's maybe got a bit of fire still in him to show why he should be in the squad.
And if he repeats this level of form between now and the November international break, it's going to be pretty hard to leave him out, isn't it?
Yeah. And, the squad is today, Friday morning, like by Sunday, like Monday's papers could be full of why on earth has Phil Foden been left out?
Or he's in because someone's pulled out.
Yeah. But, he will be on a... Well, he doesn't need to prove anything, but he is certainly enjoying his football at the minute. He, like I say, he was pretty good against Monaco again. I thought just that final bit missing, but he looks on it again.
Yeah, definitely. Good stuff. Thank you. Thank you for listening or watching as well. Please remember to leave us a like, leave us a review as well. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on your favoured podcast platform, and we'll be back on Monday to discuss the Brentford game and look ahead to another international break. For now, thanks for listening and goodbye.